Session 2 of What Do You Think? As a man thinks in his heart, so he is. I've got a story in Numbers 13 and 14 where Moses was approaching the Promised Land and he sent 12 people in there to explore it and come back with an account to the people. They went in and they found out that it indeed was a land flowing with milk and honey. They even took some of the fruit back to the people. This was the land God had promised them, but the men who went in said this, so this is Numbers 13:28. But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. Caleb, however, spoke up and said that they should go in and take the land because God had promised it to them and he'd be with them. But the other men protested. We can't attack these people. They're stronger than we. All the people we saw there are great size. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. Because of this, they gave a negative report to the people, and then those people complained against Moses and said we'd be much better off going back to Egypt. God's response to their rebellion was that none of them would enter the Promised Land except for Joshua and Caleb, who had been ones to encourage the people to trust God. Because of their disobedience, they wandered the desert many years more until the death of Moses. Joshua succeeded Moses, and he led them to Shittim, which was across the Jordan River from Jericho. And he sent 2 spies into Jericho to see what things were like. They went to the house of a prostitute, Rahab. The king of Jericho heard that they had come in, and he sent a message to Rahab to say, bring those men to them. But Rahab said, no, they've gone, they left, whereas she'd actually hidden them in the roof of the house. And then she went up to them, and just before the night she said this to them. This is in Joshua 3, 8-11. I know the Lord has given you this land, and that a great fear of you has fallen on us, so that all who live in the country are melting in fear because of you. We've heard how the Lord dried up the waters of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, what you did to Sihon and Og, the 2 kings of the Amorites east of the Jordan, whom you completely destroyed. When we heard it, in our hearts melted in fear, and everyone's courage failed because of you. For the Lord your God is in heaven and on the earth below. So the first group sent in by Moses were afraid because of what they saw. They thought the people too big and powerful. They felt like grasshoppers in comparison, and they presumed that the people of the land would also see them like grasshoppers. Because of this thinking, they didn't go into the Promised Land, but they spent many more years wandering in the desert until all that generation had died. But their thinking had been wrong all along. Rahab said that everyone there was afraid of them. They were melting in fear because of the things that they'd heard God do for these people. Wrong thinking can mean that we miss out on what God has for us.
Fear not, for I am with you. Fear not, for I am with you. Fear not, for I am with you, says the Lord. Fear not, for I am with you. Fear not, for I am with you. Fear not, for I am with you, says the Lord.